Hi, I'm Shelby. I work for College Recruiter. At College Recruiter, we believe that every student and recent graduate deserves a great career. I'm here today with Bethany Wallace, who has a communications and consulting business. And I have a couple questions to ask her. But before we begin, Bethany, would you like to introduce yourself and tell the College Recruiter audience what you do?
Sure. Thanks for having me today. I'm Bethany Wallace. I have a communications and consulting business. I've been running that business for about 6 years, and um, other than that, probably my two big areas of expertise are in content management, communications, and higher education. So I've taught and worked in career services as well.
How can we use some of these soft skills in order to avoid miscommunications, especially between different generations in the workplace?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I really feel strongly that every person, not just job seekers and not just Gen Z, should research different generations and like their preferences regarding communicating or tendencies, I guess you could say it that way, because all of us, based on when we grew up and what society was like at the time, that stuff shapes us and molds us. And so if you kind of educate yourself on the front end of, okay, this is what I can generally expect, but of course not pigeonholing people or, having a bias like, oh, well, they're Gen X, so they're going to be this. Well, maybe, but not necessarily. But at least being aware of those common tendencies can help you. And to really make sure, I think it's important for Gen Z to make sure that they attempt to spend less time on devices, especially like in the presence of other people, trying to keep the phone away, put the phone down, just ignore it, to put it on silent or whatever, and really try to give 100% attention to the people you're with in the room. And that does not just go for Gen Z, because I've been in conferences when I'm presenting and there are like 40 or 50 people or however many in the audience, and at least half of them are just like texting or scrolling or something the whole time. Um, and it's not just about being polite or not being rude. That's not all of it. It really does come down to miscommunication ultimately, especially if it's somebody you work with on a regular basis, because there is no way to pay 100% attention to the person you're with or you're meeting with if you're also paying attention to people or situations that are on a device. So I think that that's like one of the things that's very easy to eliminate in terms of miscommunication issues is just put the phones down and actually be with who you're with. It's almost like a little um, like yoga like or zen like thing. But really, like, if you can't be where your hands are with the people you're with, then you will always have miscommunication. Even if it's just miscommunication about how they're perceiving your interest or willingness to communicate. And you may be totally into it, but you might have to respond to a message, but the other person doesn't always know that. So I think that's just one of the things that contributes that, but there are a lot of other factors too.
Thank you for speaking with me today, Bethany. If our audience wants to find you, where can they do that?
You can connect with me on LinkedIn always. And also, I have a blog and a website, which is BethanyWallaceCo.com. And I'd love to hear from people. If you want to like ask me questions about what was in the webinar, of course, you can comment on it through collegerecruiter.com. But you can also reach out to me personally if you have a question about something I said that really piqued your interest.